Welcome to Contemplation 2, looking at just giving you some context of Taoism, obviously because it's quite an unknown kind of spiritual practice, not a religion. Uh, and like I say, you don't see this on many application forms. You see every religion kind of spoken for, but you don't see the spiritual practice of Taoism on many application forms, or you don't see it in many bookstores or people talking about it. You just everybody knows the symbol of yin and yang, but they just sometimes don't realise that it's the symbol for Daoism, and Daoism being the literal translation of Daoism being the way. And one of the reasons I actually chose Daoism was the simple factor of it allows you to kind of question, not kind of, it actually does allow you to question everything that you see around you. If you actually just think from just walking out your front door, or even from just waking up, all the things that you see and experience, and then when you go out, all the other things that you see and experience, all the people that you meet, or all the people that you know, the 1,001 things, as a Taoist would see it, there are 1,001 things we see every day that we can learn from, and we can appreciate, and also question to see, which, you know, things that we like about them and things that we maybe don't like about them, and then choosing from those what we prefer. And that's a good thing about Taoism as well, because it is a spiritual practice. There is no ruling head in that sense of a deity. Um, there is something called a governing body, but the governing body is who you choose to be in your kind of group of people that give you good advice, and the people that you go to for this advice, and the people that will lead you astray with advice that they feel is going to help, rather than something that they know that's going to help you. um, and once again, seeing it from your perspective and then making a decision on where you need to, the advice they need to give you, which a lot of the times it's only from their perspective and from their experience, and the way they experienced that and how they dealt with that and managed that. But once again, this is in the sense of Taoism, how we can kind of shop around, being a kind of intercultural shopper of philosophical positives. We can take them on board, and then go, well, does that fit? Will that help me in that situation? Rather than being, I have to do it this way. And this is what I see also with religions. Once a good idea, which is all religions started out to be a good idea of the way to live and how to be with people and how we should act and the kind of rights we should have. Uh, and then that became dogmatic, and then once again divided us all. Where once again, if we're looking at what is preached in religion, it's about unification. But what we see is division. I'm a Catholic, I'm a Christian, I'm a Muslim, all the different ones that you get, it just drives us apart. But all their gods are very different, but they all preach, kindness and peace and unity, and we should get along. But it just drove us apart because we're allowed to do this, but we're not allowed to do that, and we don't agree with you because you shouldn't be doing that because we don't believe in what you're doing. Once again, conversation breaks down, just like I said in the first contemplation. Conversation breaks down because this division kills the conversation, and making something a religious practice where you cannot go without outside of those beliefs, just kind of separates you from everybody else, because you're not willing to take that on board and go, well, actually, never thought about it like that before. You got a good point. Uh, but once again, I'm going to take what I want from that, because some of the things that you said really kind of fit with me. They kind of make sense, so I'm going to use them again because that's kind of good. And this is what I'm saying about advice as well, and this is what Taoism allows you to do. It allows you to shop around and actually go different places and kind of cross-reference this information and go, actually, now I can make a decision, more of an informed decision about what to do, and what way I want to follow, hence Taoism being the way. And like I said, because it's this 1001 things that we see and learn from and go to, is our governing body. So we do not need a ruling head, because the ruling head really becomes you. You know, you rule your own life, you're the master of your own destiny. And to do that, we need to shop around to get the best advice that makes sense to us and helps us in that situation. Another reason that I chose Daoism about 12 years ago, because even Daoism itself, you know, made sense to me, because it fitted basically my thought processes and the way I think, and the way I did think from being a child to being an adult. Very little has changed in the sense of how I think and how I stand off and observe and, you know, kind of experience it. And that gives me a certain, like I say, a certain advice to go, well, I saw what you did and that didn't work out for you, so I'm not doing that, because I'm going to learn from your mistakes and not make the same one. And that's, once again, Taoism helps you do. It helps you see these mistakes and go, instead of actually making those mistakes, to see basically if I can not do the same thing in the same situation. It helps you go, right, I'm not going to make that mistake, so I'm not going to put myself in that situation. I'm going to make sure I put myself in situations that are a bit more positive for me and do not lead me into this cycle of history repeating itself, because I can't break the cycle of behaviour or the pattern of thought, because I'm dogmatically connected to one, you know, one stream of thought, one belief and one way of thinking, rather than going, well, they had a point, that's a good point, that is a good point. I'm going to take all those three things and go, right, how does that work for me? What parts of those make sense? Once again, Taoism helps you do this, because we don't have a ruling head, nothing dogmatic, nothing set in stone. You can even question the beliefs in Taoism, which, you know, they say there's 72 hells and 72 heavens, depending on if you had a materialistic life, or you had a, you know, you lived a pious life, or, you know, if you had a kind of evil life where you was just nasty and just blatantly a twat to people. So, and it comes down to that, I could question that belief, because I understood that we make our own hells, we make our own heavens, and it's the expectation of going to one of these places, which is what religion gives you, this expectation to go to a heaven, this expectation to go to a hell. If you don't believe this, and you don't do this, and if you do this, you're going to go there. If you don't do this, you're going there. And like I say, that actual hell is created for yourself, and then you expect to go there. And once again, in Taoism, it allows you to question that belief. Is there 72 hells or is there 72 heavens? I don't believe so. I, uh, I don't even know if there is an afterlife. It's something I couldn't say, because I've never experienced it. I'll only know when I get there, and then I can obviously answer it then, and then that truth will be revealed to me. But like I say, just to give you that context of Taoism, and, you know, um, how little known is about it, I thought I'd just give you a bit of insight into it. And I suppose Taoism in itself is kind of, you know, sometimes caught by its own ideology, and we are the dragon amongst the trees, so you don't see us, but we're always there. Uh, which is once again why it's little known, because that's how the Taoists would see it. You know, we are the dragon amongst the trees, we're always there, but you don't see us. Which once again gives you a certain perspective on everything else, because you can see both sides, and once again you try not to kill the conversation through this division, because you can see, once again, you become this mediator, this facilitator of the middle, where you can see both sides and go, right, I know what you're saying and I know what you're saying, but what you're both saying makes more sense than what you're trying to disagree on. So let's go with that. Uh, so yeah, so that's Taoism in a kind of nutshell. Obviously, it's a simplified look at it, but once again, what I see Taoism as is the way, and if your way is to question and to, cross-reference and find evidence that kind of supports that ideology and that idea and that theory, then sweet, go with it. Once again, if it doesn't, then get rid and let's move on with something else. Uh, so yeah, so once again, this is True Talking Taoist. That is my kind of view on Taoism and what Taoism is, and thank you so much for listening.